Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Friday, September 29th. It's week 5 in college football. We are doing a regular Friday afternoon individual game preview with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. He's picked an interesting game to talk about this week, Miami of Ohio against Notre Dame. Of course, I've been discussing this in the morning shows, kind of a lot all week long. There's a pick that I've been leaning towards, but I haven't given yet. I think I'm going to give it, though. As I was preparing for this video, I decided, you know what? I do like the way I was leaning. I did my in-depth research, and I'm liking it, if not as much, even more than I was early in the week when I had my initial thought on it. And it's actually going to be on the total, and the total actually hasn't moved yet. But Steve, in my official public picks so far this year in college football, 29-20 ATS. That's not too bad, right?
Well, that's quite good.
Quite good, Steve. All right, so you're ready for my pick here. It is going to be on the over. It's a 53 or 53 and a half. I'm going to take 53, which is at BetOnline or sportsbetting.ag. That's an official pick that I'm adding to my record. Obviously, Notre Dame has some very, very potent weapons on offense. Their offensive line has been great. And then on the other side, Miami of Ohio, I don't think they have the defense that's likely to challenge Notre Dame at all. Offensively, they're not great, but they're definitely efficient. They're good. They should put up some points. It's an interesting spread. It's minus 21. It has gotten bet down from 23, which is very, very curious. So some kind of significant money has come in on Miami of Ohio. So I don't know if they're going to be able to hang with Notre Dame or not, but I think that either way, the game likely goes over. Of course, we've seen Notre Dame this year. When they played Georgia, the game went way under, but against teams that they outmatched, their offense was absolutely explosive. I like over 53. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. What do you think about that? And what's your take on this game?
I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have a recommendation on the total, but I wanted to talk about the spread in this game, and perhaps that will help inform your conclusion. I think you've already made your conclusion about the total, but maybe I will touch on some of those factors when I go through my notes here on the spread here.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely big, potent offensive weapons for Notre Dame. We know that. The running game is obviously awesome, and I think it's going to be awesome until further notice, especially against mediocre defenses. And I think their passing game is only going to get better going forward. I mean, the quarterback, Wimbush, who had some issues passing earlier in the season, actually looked a little bit better against Michigan State last week. And so I'm on the over here. Let's see what your take on this game is, Steve.
Okay, so when I was finding value in this game, I found it on one of the sides. And of course, Peter, which is not to say that I'm not discounting your position. My area of expertise so far with collegefootballwinning.com is not on totals necessarily. So it is the years of research have been spent on the spread. So collegefootballwinning.com focusing on college football spread betting for the most part. So looking for value on a side here against the spread, I think there are both football performance indicators and betting data markers here that suggest there is value on one side. And so you can hear my pitch here, my argument, Peter, for one side, and tell me what you think. So the football indicators. Notre Dame feels like they are world beaters after beating Michigan State in East Lansing last week, 38-18, a 20-point victory. But Michigan State actually outgained Notre Dame 496-355. So, Peter, if we used average college football yards per point numbers, Michigan State should have beaten Notre Dame 35-25. Should have been a 10-point victory for Michigan State instead of a 20-point loss. And that end result, 35-25, would have been very close to 2016's final result, Michigan State 36, Notre Dame 28. So I think that box score is very misleading. Turnovers played a huge role in that game. Notre Dame scored 21 points off of turnovers, and they won by 20. And you know it's coming, Peter. You've heard me say this for years. Turnovers as a statistical category, for my money, that's the most impactful in terms of the outcome of the game, yet most unpredictable or random of the critically significant college football metrics. So you cannot rely on points off of turnovers going week to week as predictive. Miami, Ohio, for their part, they experienced the exact opposite fate for one of their two straight up losses this season. Miami lost to Marshall 31-26, but they outgained Marshall 429 to 267. So if we use those same average college football yards per point, Miami should have beaten Marshall 30-19 instead of losing 31-26. So again, very misleading box score for Miami, Ohio. Miami's other straight up loss, they have two on the season, was to Cincinnati. Miami was winning that game, Peter, 17-6 with 3 minutes left to go in the game. I mean, they had this wrapped up before all kinds of bad happened, and they ended up losing 21-17. Again, a somewhat misleading final score. So if you're just judging by box scores here, Notre Dame seems to look better than they are, and Miami seems to look worse than they actually are. Head coaches, Chuck Martin from Miami, Ohio, and Brian Kelly from Notre Dame, they know each other very well. They coached together at both Grand Valley State and at Notre Dame, which is where Miami head coach Chuck Martin was for the 4 years before taking this Miami head coaching position. So he knows this Notre Dame team very well. He certainly knows Coach Brian Kelly very well. Now, addressing a legitimate concern that people might have, you might have, about the talent differential between Notre Dame and Miami, Ohio. Miami outgained and covered the spread last season, 2016, versus both Iowa, at Iowa, and Mississippi State in the St. Petersburg Bowl, the bowl game. And I think this is a better Miami team than last year's team. Now, looking at betting data. So I said we had football performance reasons to suggest that one side looks like there's an advantage. It has an advantage. And there are betting data markers too. So looking at that, all home teams in the FBS, not just Notre Dame, all home teams in the FBS that are 21 or 21.5 point favorites. And that's where this line for the last few days has been going back and forth. Notre Dame favored by 21.5 points. They are, the last 3 seasons, including this one, Peter, those home teams are 30.77% against the spread. So if you're betting on that visitor getting 21 or 21.5 points, they're beating the spread at the rate of 69.23%. Advantage Miami, Ohio. Notre Dame has been that 21 or 21.5 point home favorite 2 times in the last 10 years. They're 0-2 against the spread in those games. One of those games was last year versus Duke, and Notre Dame failed not only to cover the spread by 24 points, but Notre Dame lost that game outright. Advantage Miami, Ohio. Notre Dame at home the last 10 years, they're not a good home against the spread team. They are 42.86% against the spread at home last 10 years. Under head coach Brian Kelly, a little better, but still not profitable, still pretty bad. They're 45.24% against the spread at home in all their games. Under coach Brian Kelly, at home, when they're favored by at least a touchdown. And here, they're favored by at least 3 touchdowns. They're just 36% against the spread. Notre Dame at home under head coach Brian Kelly, when they're getting at least 65% of the public betting, as is the case right here for this matchup, they are just 28.57% against the spread, Peter. So again, advantage Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio, in terms of betting data, they are 70% against the spread in away games under head coach Chuck Martin, who's in his 4th season here at Miami. Under head coach Martin, Miami is 75% against the spread versus Power 5 schools. Notre Dame technically not part of a Power 5 conference, but they are certainly seen as that caliber opponent. Miami, 66.67% against the spread versus non-conference FBS opponents under head coach Chuck Martin. Miami, and I like this one a lot, 13-5, so 72.22% against the spread as double-digit underdogs under head coach Chuck Martin. So all those signs are pointing to the Miami side. So as you can tell, my inescapable conclusion right now, it could change if something dramatic happened between now and kickoff, but I like Miami, Ohio getting at least 21 points. As we are recording this, you can get them both online and here in Las Vegas at 21.5 points if you shop around.
Okay, well, the line has certainly gotten bet down since it's opened, so maybe some sharp action is what drove that down. Some kind of influential money, though, is betting on Miami, Ohio as of Friday afternoon. Opened at 23, now it's down to a 21 or 21.5. My pick on this game, Steve, and your analysis doesn't really make me feel like I'm liking the over any less. Over 53 minus 115. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. Tell us about your website.
Thank you, Peter. At collegefootballwinning.com, the company only focuses on college football betting analysis. And we're a company that's founded on making betting recommendations primarily against the spread using using sets of algorithms. So we call those algorithmic sets our formula. And our formula, the lifetime of this company, is 60.16% against the spread. Last season, 2016, it was 62.26% against the spread. The formula has not yet begun. This season, we need to get a certain amount of current season performance betting data, performance and betting data. So we're getting close. Our numbers are getting close, but we're not quite there yet. That's all good news. The bad news is people can't actually join us right now. We have a waiting list, but you can go to collegefootballwinning.com and you can join our waiting list. And good luck to everybody out there.
Thanks so much, Steve. Talk to you next week.
Thank you, Peter. Talk to you next week.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.